He thought he cooked with this too. He said one last thing and I'm going to bed. Bro, you really thought you cooked with this dumb ass comment? I understand you and a lot of your audience are too young to know a time before hip-hop, but you and your audience do know a time before STDs were thought of or being promoted so nonchalantly as they are today. Who is known for doing that? Who is bringing forth the destruction? STDs have existed for thousands of years, but who is working to make it cool? This is what Special Ed was saying NWA introduced and promoted to the community the same way Sexyy Red promotes STDs to the community. On what planet is Sexyy Red influencing people to go get STDs? Where is this happening? I remember when Sexyy Red was doing all that STD talk, people was like, that nasty. There's not a bunch of people that want to go out and get STDs. What are you talking about? Sexyy Red promoting STDs to the community. How is that going? Is that going good? Are you really giving Sexyy Red that power to make it seem like she could go out and convince people to get sexually transmitted diseases? Why are you saying this? This is crazy. The same way Sexyy Red promotes STDs to the community. That's not going well. Sexyy Red is influencing people to go get STDs. That's basically what you're saying, bro. STDs have existed for thousands of years. And you're going to put the blame on Sexyy Red. You're going to blame people getting sexually transmitted diseases on Sexyy Red. And not the people that are willfully having a bunch of unprotected sex. You're going to blame Sexyy Red for this? This is, bro, y'all are stupid. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Y'all get on this. Y'all get on my platform to try to disagree with me, but and y'all just sound so dumb. What is going on, guys? Gully Boy back at you with a brand new video. And right about now, we are about to get into some wacky comments that appear throughout my social media accounts. Today's video, I'm gonna talk about a specific comment that's basically the influence for this video, which appeared on my NWA Destroyed the Black Community video that I released a couple of days ago. Now, this right here is an instance of people that just want to disagree with me just because of it. A lot of times what happens on my videos is that people hear me talk and they just think that I'm trying to be this person that's just like Mr. Know-It-All, and leads to them just wanting to disagree with me even though I'm providing great information. This is something that I noticed happens a lot in the black community, is when somebody has a strong voice and they're actually saying things that make sense, these people turn on their hateration radars and they just start trying to make it seem like who is you? And this is something that really has to stop in our community because it doesn't do any good. You know, every time a black man starts speaking some sense, you got these N-words that want to come around and try to make it seem like I just have no idea what I'm talking about. So for this comment that I'm about to highlight is someone who basically didn't listen to the video at all. A lot of times people will comment in the comment section stuff that I've never said, and they're actually commenting things that I agreed with. For this particular comment, this dude is trying to make it seem like I said that music has no influence on people. I never said this. What I actually said is that music has influence on people, but to blame the community's problems solely on entertainment is disingenuous, because the problems come from somewhere and they didn't all of a sudden come from music. This is my whole issue with people trying to blame the community's problems on NWA. That's nonsensical and stupid because the problems already existed before NWA. And then what a lot of these people are saying is that NWA added fuel to the fire. If the problem is already there and nothing is being done to resolve the issue, it's going to increase. To say that NWA is the reason why people join gangs is completely stupid, because the main thing that comes into play is the environment. Notice that NWA's music doesn't have any influence on white communities. You don't see a bunch of white people joining gangs and killing each other at a high rate. That only happens in the black community, which is where the influence of the music comes from. So, for the millionth time, it's the troubles in the community. It's the mentality of the people that thinks it's okay to be a gangster. That's my point. So before we get into the stupidest comment I've ever seen, let's just see where this conversation started. Okay, he says, before NWA, gangsta pimp and prostitute culture existed in black mainstream media, TV, and movies. But they weren't the stars or heroes. Check old episodes of Good Times. All of the elements are there. Ratchet women, gangsta pimps, they were all there. But they were not stars and heroes. Good people were heroes. NWA was the beginning of the mainstream making the bad guys the heroes. And before someone brings up 1972 Superfly, that character was trying to get out of the business and go legit. So it was a black redemption story. Now, one thing that I noticed is that he said that the mainstream was basically the beginning of them making the bad guys the heroes. A lot of times when we watch these videos about how NWA was the beginning of the destruction of the black community, their first album, in my opinion, wouldn't make it seem like they're bad guys, because a lot of the songs were politically charged and they were basically talking about the ill wills of the system. Of course, you had gangster stuff on the album, but a lot of that was a reflection of the community. So I think it's disingenuous to say that NWA was the beginning of the destruction of the black community when they were actually highlighting a lot of the things that were going on that caused the troubles of the community. So that in itself is even disingenuous. But I replied to this comment basically by saying you're still solely talking about the media. Just like you said, gangsters and pimps were already in the community. That's the issue. The gangsters and pimps are already there. And growing up in the black community, you're surrounded by these things. And when you're surrounded by these things and some of these things are accepted, some people are going to feel like they have to live that way. That is the issue. Now, let's just say if you're living in the community and you're surrounded by gangsters and somebody becomes influenced by that, can you blame the music? Can you blame the entertainment at that point? Seriously, think about that, because that has more of an influence than somebody listening to an NWA album. Because just like I said before, nobody is trying to join gangs at a high rate in the white community and in other communities that aren't the black community. Brother, every type of evil imaginable has existed for thousands of years. Ask yourself, at what point does evil become mass marketed to the black community by Fortune 500 companies through radio, TV, magazines? 1960s Donald Goines, 1960s Iceberg Slim, I don't know what this is. I guess these are movies. And he's showing me where the companies basically promoted this. And then he ends it all by saying 1980s NWA in my Matrix Morpheus voice. Check this out. You literally just said, brother, every type of evil imaginable existed in thousands of years ago. That's the issue right there. Because these movies and NWA wouldn't exist if these things weren't in their community. Point blank, period. That's the problem right there. To just say evil existed thousands of years ago and evil exists in the black community, but the cause of that evil is NWA. That's dumb. That is just so stupid. That's like saying somebody shot up a school because they played Call of Duty. No. No. That person shot that school up because he was crazy. Check out the Columbine shooters, for example. They tried to say that the video game Doom was an influence for them shooting up the school, but it wasn't. You can say that the video game added fuel to the fire, but their upbringing was so messed up. I think that they were neglected by their parents, which was the number one thing, in my opinion, that would cause somebody to do something like that, is not having loving parents. And they were bullied and teased and harassed at school, I think. So being bullied at school, having parents that don't care about you, that is going to be the main cause of you shooting up a school, not playing the video game Doom. Oh, they played Doom. Oh, so they shot up a school after playing Doom. Oh, 1960s Iceberg Slim is the reason why people are gangbangers. Y'all just don't realize how dumb y'all sound with that. And I said, like I said in the video, the mainstream media promotes what people gravitate towards. This is true. So the sole responsibility is on the mentality of the people. This is why gangster rap doesn't affect certain people in these communities, and I'm a prime example. So basically what I'm saying right there is that you have people in the black community where gangster rap doesn't have an effect on them. And I think that is because of their upbringing. Although I was surrounded by gangsters, I had a great mom that raised me right. And she taught me great values of life. She even sat me down and told me that this music is basically just entertainment and that it shouldn't be emulated. My mama let me listen to all of the music that I wanted to. I grew up listening to NWA. I was listening to NWA when I was a little kid. Niggas for Life, I probably had that album at 9, 10 years old, bumping it. And it never made me want to commit crimes or join a gang. Why? Because I had a great upbringing. A lot of kids in black communities don't have great upbringings, so they resort to the lifestyle. I've been seeing it ever since I lived in the hood. But you're going to be someone that's going to blame that on NWA. It's because of NWA. That's why. That's why. That's stupid. Blaming the mainstream media is never the solution, as that's all everyone ever does, and it changes nothing. It don't change a goddamn thing. You just want to point the finger at something. Now, this next comment, this dude wrote a whole essay about something that I didn't even say. Crazy. Because in my responses, I'm basically saying that the community causes the influence more than the music could ever do. I'm not saying that music don't influence people to do stuff, because it does. It really do. But to put the sole blame on the music, that's an error right there. Because you're never talking about somebody's upbringing or the environment that they live in, which is the main culprit of somebody choosing a lifestyle. Do y'all remember the movie Butterfly Effect? This is a perfect example. I just rewatched that movie. The movie Butterfly Effect consists of Ashton Kutcher trying to go back in time and change things that happened in his life in order for a better outcome. There wasn't a scene in that movie where he was trying to go back in time to stop somebody from listening to some music. Come on, man. What? Oh, I gotta stop listening to Metallica. No, he was trying to go back in time to change things that happened in his life, and the people in his life, he was trying to change the things that were happening in their life too. Because it was a moment in time on there where he wrote in his diary that a girl's father molested him and his daughter. And that scene, he was trying to change. He was trying to right that wrong, trying to make it, stop it from happening, because that moment in her life led to her killing herself in the future. So he kept trying to go back in time in order to stop that from happening, in order for her to have a better future. I had no idea that I was going to reference the movie Butterfly Effect, but that is a phenomenal movie. And it ties in to this. Like I said, not one time where he was trying to stop somebody from listening to some damn music. Come on, bruh. Okay. Brother, what does the mainstream call people with a large social media following? I think influencers is what they call them. Ask anyone old enough to know or research the black music charts before NWA became popular in 1988. You will see that New Jack Swing and positive Afrocentric rap was the most popular music. But okay, even though that's the case, guess what's still happening in the communities? Gangsterism. And there was going to be a group to basically highlight what was going on in the community. I feel like when people heard NWA for the first time, they were like, this is some real shit. Because it was. People gravitated towards that because it was like, this is what's going on in the community. Hip hop is about expressing yourself and telling your story. So what they supposed to do? Not tell their story and not reflect on what's going on in their community? That is going against hip hop. There was going to be a group that was going to blow up off of that shit. And in order, like I said before, in order for NWA not to exist, what has to not exist? The stuff that they're rapping about that's going on in their community every day. And it's still going on till this very day. This is simple. NWA came with the Mount Rushmore writer with Ice Cube, producer with Dr. Dre, and voice with Eazy-E. They influenced the West. Then Snoop influenced the world. They made Crippin' cool. As if Crippin' wasn't already cool. Like Crips didn't exist before Snoop Dogg. Y'all say this? Y'all dumb, bro. Y'all sound so stupid. Snoop influenced the world to become Crips. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg made every single person want to be a Crip. Yeah, Snoop Dogg. You need to, like what? Suge and Tupac made the Bloods cool. Everybody wanted to be a Blood because of Tupac and Suge Knight. Bro, y'all sound so stupid, bruh. For real. Check this out. I have never seen, I've been living in the black community for a long time, and I've never seen someone want to become a gangbanger because of a rapper. It's always their surroundings. A lot of kids that become gangbangers, their family members are gangbangers. Tupac a blood. I'm finna go out here and be a blood. Pink existed before Cameron. Pink existed before Cameron. Killer made it cool. Killer made it cool. Even though, bro, check this out. Even though Cameron was wearing pink back then, it wasn't a lot of niggas walking around wearing pink. So that's false. I don't remember a lot of people running around wearing pink. Drinking Cristal and dressing up existed before Jay-Z. He made gold bottles and grown and sexy cool. Like that stuff didn't already, like it wasn't already cool to, bro, what do you, like you. And then, like I said before, I never disagreed with what he's talking about. I never said that media and music has no influence. I never said this. You talking about some stuff existed before. That's my point. In order for these rappers to make stuff cool, it has to already exist. That is what we need to focus on if we want to change something. Not going to the freaking rappers, bro. Diddy made Ciroc cool. The brand had existed for decades before Puff promoted it. City Girls made period cool. Why are you talking about the City Girls in the word period? That's influence, brother. Like, bro, what? We talking about Bloods and Crips. These niggas talking about the City Girls. And what negative impact does that have on people? Maybe he's just showing me examples of influence. I know what influence is. Talking about something that's influence, brother. City Girls made saying period cool. Are you gonna say that City Girls made thotting cool? You probably will. but hoes, never mind. Cause I'm repeating myself at this point. Alonzo said it best in this video. Of course, gangsters already exist in LA. NWA influence made it cool. I don't disagree with that. But is NWA the reason why people join gangs? Haven't you heard DJ's quick songs just like Compton? Yeah, because gangs existed everywhere. That's all that song is talking about. Let's go back to 1958. MLK and SNCC made non-violent protest cool. 1965, Huey P. Newton made BPPB cool. It influenced the Bible says in Ecclesiasticus, everything that has been will begin, and everything that has been done will be done. Yeah, but where in that scripture does it say that people do stuff because of music? Where in that Bible scripture does it say that? Some estimates that was written 3K years ago. So of course gangsters existed before the NWA. Ratchet existed before Sexyy Red and Cardi and Little Kim. They used their God-given talents to fuel the engine that was already there. Bro, like, you gonna keep saying this dumbass shit. So again, what you're doing is that you're putting the blame on the entertainers and not the actual issue that's going on in the community. You keep blaming the entertainers. And with the help of some very wealthy non-black people, they influenced the nation. Special ed is 100% incorrect. What are you talking about, bro? Because you never look at the root cause of the issue, bro. I didn't give plenty of examples in this video on why it's not logical to blame stuff on media. I play Grand Theft Auto all the time, and I never wanted to go outside and randomly shoot people. A lot of people have played GTA, and they don't want to do that. If somebody go outside and randomly shoot people, you can't blame Grand Theft Auto. It's that person and how they probably grew up. Like, come on, bruh. What? Now here's the comment that was just extremely stupid, bro. And this right here, oh my God, bro. I should have started the video highlighting this comment. And what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in the beginning. But this comment is so dumb. He thought he cooked with this too. He said one last thing and I'm going to bed. Bro, you really thought you cooked with this dumbass comment? I understand you and a lot of your audience are too young to know a time before hip-hop, but you and your audience do know a time before STDs were thought of or being promoted so nonchalantly as they are today. Who is known for doing that? Who is bringing forth the destruction? STDs have existed for thousands of years, but who is working to make it cool? This is what Special Ed was saying NWA introduced and promoted to the community the same way Sexyy Red promotes STDs to the community. On what planet is Sexyy Red influencing people to go get STDs? Where is this happening? I remember when Sexyy Red was doing all that STD talk, people was like, that nasty. There's not a bunch of people that want to go out and get STDs. What are you talking about? Sexyy Red promoting STDs to the community. How is that going? Is that going good? Are you really giving Sexyy Red that power to make it seem like she could go out and convince people to get sexually transmitted diseases? Why are you saying this? This is crazy. The same way Sexyy Red promotes STDs to the community. That's not going well. Sexy Red is influencing people to go get STDs. That's basically what you're saying, bro. STDs have existed for thousands of years. And you're going to put the blame on Sexy Red. You're going to blame people getting sexually transmitted diseases on Sexy Red. And not the people that are willfully having a bunch of unprotected sex. You're going to blame Sexy Red for this? This is, bro, y'all are stupid. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Y'all get on this. Y'all get on my platform to try to disagree with me, and y'all just sound so dumb. The nigga literally said sexually transmitted diseases have existed for thousands of years. Yeah, bruh. Yeah. People need to stop having a bunch of unprotected sex with a bunch of people. People need to be more responsible. No, we just need to ban Sexy Red so this won't happen no more. And then I responded and said, I never said music doesn't influence people, so throw your entire essay in the trash. What the f*** is you talking about? I never even said what we're writing an essay about, idiot. Ooh-wee. Okay, this video went longer than I expected, but you know that's what happened over here, man. Y'all just gotta, bro. If you're somebody that's blaming the media for stuff, I just don't agree. And I think it's irresponsible. That's all. You're never putting the blame on what we need to be actually blaming. And a lot of y'all really just be saying stuff like this comment, for example. Music definitely made things that weren't acceptable previously become acceptable currently. Sex work, face tax. He put eating booty. Music made eating booty acceptable in society today. Eating booty. Rap music made eating booty cool. That's a lie, because eating booty is still something that's shunned upon. This is an example of somebody you're just talking. Sex work, like how old boy was saying, prostitution existed thousands of years ago. Face tats. I mean, my thing is, the stuff is already here. He said all of these things used to be frowned upon. Really? I don't know, bro. Just talking, man. Here's another one. Or the other one. This dude said, when I was growing up, Lil Wayne influenced people to be Bloods, Lupe influenced people to skateboard, and Wiz influenced people to smoke weed. Wayne influenced people to be Bloods. Lil Wayne. If I'm not mistaken, Lil Wayne was getting clowned for being a fake blood back then. So how can somebody who's getting clowned for being a fake blood make somebody want to be a real blood? Lupe influenced people to skateboard. Where? I remember when Kick Push came out. I don't remember a bunch of people wanting to skateboard. Maybe where this person is from, but I don't. Wiz influenced people to smoke weed. Hey, smoking weed wasn't already a thing. All right, man, I'm gonna end the video right here because I'm gonna say this. What you could be saying could be true, but to make it seem like it's because of Wiz Khalifa, that is stupid to me. Wiz Khalifa influenced people to smoke weed. It just started with Wiz Khalifa. It didn't start with that person's upbringing at all. It just starts with Wiz Khalifa. All right, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end this one. Catch y'all on the next one.